And
and a gate.
the road goes clear to the ocean bluff. Yeah. And, yeah.
Yeah, the building site, I don't have that picture, but the building site that's approved is out by the bluff.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Okay.
all for right now.
Supervisor Delbar, did you have any questions? Okay. Supervisor Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Miller, could you just briefly repeat the 3 additional conditions that were added, I believe, by Mr. Lynch at the hearing?
Yes, that would be my pleasure. There's a special condition number 4 is that there shall be incorporated into the sign program the statement, quote, "no beach access," to be posted at the trailhead. Number 5, an encroachment permit shall be secured for any work within the right-of-way. And number 6, a split rail fence shall be provided from the edge of the highway right-of-way to the terminus of the access trail. And that the land trust was in agreement with all those conditions.
And were those placed at the request of Mr. Patrick or with discussions with him?
Yeah, those were not conditions originally included by staff who prepared the report. And as an outcome of we had probably about an hour-long public hearing in Fort Bragg on March 27th. And in order to address many of Mr. Patrick's concerns, those conditions were added. We support the land trust in their efforts, but we also did acknowledge that there were some valid concerns of Mr. Patrick, and so we felt, or Frank Lynch felt, that those conditions should be added, and we intend to have more trail permit applications come before us, and we intend, as we do more and more of them, I think we've probably done 5 or 6, we'll be incorporating we'll build similar conditions into permits in the future to anticipate these types of problems.
Well, I think that those are all, good additions from the standpoint of the landowner and probably for the ultimate success of the project. And I share the concerns of Supervisor Colfax regarding the abalone diving and the public's ability to seek out locations like this. But as Mr. Bernard stated, any amount of signage that one can create is not necessarily going to stop these folks. And I think we have a serious educational dilemma that we're trying to address. The Water Safety Coalition is moving forward. Part of what the county's park bond money is going to be spent on the South Coast and the North Coast is talking about hazardous bluff conditions in general on state park property and the hazards that are created at the waterfront. So it seems to me that the signage as listed in the condition would be appropriate for this parcel. So thank you.
Yeah, just to add, the other signage that's already included was an exhibit on the staff report, Exhibit D, and it has a sign that says pack it in, pack it out. There's small signage that says private property, and Mr. Patrick's free to also put up private property signs on his side of the easement, which I think he intends to do as well. There's an end of trail, cliff unstable danger sign. There's actually 3 of those. So I'm pretty confident that the signage is adequate.
Thank you.
Supervisor Colfax, I believe, was first.
Point of clarification here. The subdivision of this property took place when? What year?
Well, it was Coastal Development Minor Subdivision 12/2005. The date of which I'm not sure, but I believe it was in the calendar year of 2006. Remember when you got the subdivision? So you think it was in 2007? Yes. Okay. And part of that subdivision, it was a package deal, if you will. We approved a house as well on the eastern parcel on in approving the subdivision and the residents, the planning commission asked and was granted a requirement for another part of easement, access easement, parallel to the highway, north of where the driveway is, running north on the west side of the highway. And that could be utilized in sometime in the future for realizing the California Coastal Trail adjacent to the west side of Highway 1. And there is also a large piece of property been referred to at the meeting already, the Navarro Point Bluff Trail, which has a parking area and quite spectacular. I think about 300 acres and 55, but it looks like 300. That's south of the site.
I got some property to sell you, Mr. Ryan.
Well, to continue this, the coastal plan suggests there be two access, one north and one south. And it was subdivided subsequent to the coastal plan, presumably, presentation. How did that get through the planning commission? I'm just raising some issues because we're making concessions to a buyer who presumably came on after these things were in place. I'm trying to sort this out because some of the information provided here is just not terribly clear.
Well, my recollection, the coastal plan does, I guess, I think where you're leading is the physical described easement is not being fully utilized because, as I said in my opening remarks, there are some natural resources on the property. There's a large wetland complex that cuts across the property from the southeast corner going diagonally north to the northwest corner to that willow thicket that's been referred to. And so we asked the Mendocino Land Trust to terminate the trail 50 feet south of that resource area on the bluff edge, which is consistent with the natural resource protection buffer that are required by the coastal plan policies. And we did that for a couple of reasons. The Land Trust was agreeable to doing that, and it also lowers the possibility that the California Coastal Commission, who has taken great concern, especially recently, in the way that we're administering our protections of natural resources, from any specter that they would take up the project on an appeal, thinking that we were not protecting natural resources adequately. So the trail does terminate south of where the access easement along the bluff could go, but what it leads into is a natural area thicket, which the Land Trust is interested in having regenerate. It does lead towards this problematic unauthorized, dissension point over the edge of the earth. And so for all things concerned, it seemed like a win-win just to terminate the trail a little bit south of that area. And so that's why I think you're referring to it does stop south of where the recorded easement is. And the recorded easement to me is just a vehicle or a tool to work within those boundaries to get some access. And the access is going to get people from the highway down the southern property line and out to a very nice area along the bluff top edge.
Yeah, I understand that.